Because unhappy customers are 5 times more likely to leave a negative review than happy customers are to leave a review at all, you're almost guaranteed to get a negative review if you're in business, especially a service-based business, from time to time, no matter how happy the majority of your customers are. If negative reviews are on your radar as a business owner, you're going to want to stick around for this discussion. In case you're new here, I'm Jolynn Armstrong, the creator of Grapevine Virtual. I've built a global team of marketing experts. We focus our talents on helping local service-based businesses up-level their marketing and grow their businesses. If you want to hear more about that, consider subscribing, and then you can hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. Okay, let's get into it. First and foremost, if you get a bad review, don't panic. It's not always the end of the world. Bad reviews can actually help you as a business owner. They can help you correct an issue that you might not have known about. They can also steer a potential customer away from a bad fit on either side. If you respond effectively, a negative review can also show some legitimacy on your part as a business owner. Not always, but sometimes people get a little suspicious if they only see 5-star reviews out there. They start to think that maybe not all of the reviews are genuine. So having an occasional negative review isn't the end of the world, especially if you've responded correctly. Also, if you do respond effectively, you can show how much you care about your business, about your customers, and you can show off your customer service abilities. One more thing to think about if you get a negative review. If positive reviews that are on the same review site outweigh that negative review, readers will typically dismiss the negative review or justify it away. But if the negative reviews outweigh the positive review, then a much stronger response from the business owner is required to deal with those. The very first and most important way to deal with negative reviews as a business owner is to simply know when they show up. If you leave a negative review online for a period of time, weeks or months or whatever that is, and without a response, it can really hurt your online reputation. So you want to immediately be notified when those reviews show up so that you can respond to them right away. So because of this, many of them provide some kind of a notification whenever a new review comes in, especially if it's a negative review, but they're not consistent across the board. Different review sites have their different standards and way to notify you, and not all of them are even consistent within their own site. They might suppress some reviews, so there are some negative reviews out there that you never got notified about, you may not even be able to see, and it's inconsistent across the board. Because of this, there are review monitoring services out there that provide varying degrees of service. My company also provides this review monitoring service where we automate responses to you whenever reviews come in. If you want to hear more about that, let me know in the comments below. Responding to reviews is not an exact science, but I have developed over time some strategies that have been really helpful for my clients, so I thought I'd share them with you today. All right, before you begin, take a minute. When a negative review comes to you, and especially one that's really egregious, just sit back for a minute, take a deep breath, don't panic. Maybe even just let it sit for a minute before responding. The last thing that you want to do is respond off the cuff and quickly and without really formulating a plan for that response. The good thing about reviews online is it does give you that minute to sit back and think about it. Maybe do a little bit of investigation first to find out the other side of the story, if there is one. If you know what happened, if it's something that you and a customer dealt with specifically, the two of you, and you know what happened, at least it gives you an opportunity to take a second, take a breath, and formulate a response. So before you respond, you need to really decide how you're going to respond, whether you're going to respond publicly or in private. There's some disagreement between the experts on what's better. And really, that boils down to the fact that there isn't a perfect way to respond to every single negative review. This is going to take some thought and some evaluation on your part to know how to handle each individual response in your way. Because this is kind of a detailed and nitty-gritty subject, whether or not to respond online or offline and all of the things that go into that decision-making process. If you want me to do a video specifically on that, let me know in the comments below. I can do that. It is kind of a big subject with a lot of little details in it, but suffice it to say, for this video's purposes, do some evaluation on your part, and depending on what that situation is, before doing anything, make that decision on whether you want to reach out to that person directly, either on the phone or email or text or in person, or if you want to handle it online. Generally, the lower level complaints can be handled online pretty easily, just with a response on the review. If it's something that's a little muddier or a little bit more difficult, you might want to take that offline first and then come back to the review after. If you do handle your response offline, do make sure to come back to that review online and leave a response letting the public know that you have solved that. And you can do that by saying something like this: "Thank you for taking the time to bring this to our attention. We're so happy we could resolve this issue in person. We look forward to your next visit." Now, notice what I said there at the beginning. Always thank a reviewer for their time, the time that they took to review, regardless of what your response is or how negative the review was. You'll be doing your public image and just your personal well-being a big favor if you assume that every review that's written is written with the intent to help you. So think about that for a minute. If, regardless of what the actual real intent may be, just consider it something that's intended to help you when you respond, and make your response reflect that. It's a little mindset trick that's really going to help your responses kind of increase the professionalism, decrease maybe the hurt feelings part of it, and just really help you be professional and grateful online when you respond to reviews. Don't try to win an argument online, especially in this setting. You're just not going to as the business owner. I do have some ways that you can respond to save face a little bit, but just don't try to win an argument. You should instead just graciously accept responsibility and get on to the next point in your response. If you or your business or someone in your business actually really was in the wrong, and a policy or practice within your business really caused a negative experience for one of your customers, you might respond something like this: "We sincerely apologize for your subpar experience and have made XYZ changes to our policy to prevent this from ever happening again. We hope you'll give us another opportunity to provide you with a better experience as soon as possible." With really effective follow-up, you may even be able to convince that customer to remove their review altogether. But bonus points if you can get them to come up and follow up with a positive comment after you've resolved the issue. I say that because of this. TripAdvisor did a study that showed that 79% of readers of negative reviews say that they were reassured by the responses of the business owners. So you can see how having a negative review out there, while it may drop your overall star rating or point rating online, having that positive follow-up, that comment back from you, and especially if they can see a resolution, overall, in the grand scheme of things, it really might help you and show people how you handle situations, and you may come out even better for having that negative review online. By the way, if you have a story about responding to a negative review online and how that turned out in a positive way for you, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Remember, a lot of times, information that you can share is way more helpful than what I can share here as well. So make sure and let your colleagues know below what your experiences with online reviews and responding specifically to negative reviews has been in the past. All right, we need to talk about one other thing though, and that is fake negative reviews. This is something that I absolutely hate. When one of your competitors feels like the only way that they can compete with you, that they can keep up with you, is by leaving fake reviews online for the express purpose of hurting your online reputation and driving business to them instead in this snaky, underhanded, really seedy kind of way. I've got a few tips for you there too. So while these types of reviews can be a little tricky to handle because nobody else knows that it's not an actual customer of yours. There's a couple of things to keep in mind when you respond to these, because you do need to respond to them as well. So first of all, do not stoop to their level ever. Don't resort to arguing online or name calling. Just like with a legitimate negative review, you're not going to win an argument here. So always, always, always take the high road and don't stoop to their level. If you're able to solidly show that this person actually never visited your business and that this isn't a legitimate review, something like you only work off of appointments and you can clearly show in your appointment book that they were never there. Something like that, even if, it came down to you taking a screenshot and showing that their name wasn't on your list. If you can positively show that they were never there, you might say something like this. Unfortunately, we have no record of you ever visiting our business. We keep meticulous appointment records and are unable to find you anywhere. Please verify that you've reviewed the right business. Or you could say something like this. It sounds as if you've had a terrible experience, and we hope you're able to resolve this issue with whatever business you worked with, but our records don't reflect any business from you ever. Please make sure that you're reviewing the right business. Now, sometimes a fake reviewer or a competitor of yours will have information about someone in your business or specific ways that you operate and can be more specific or very specific with their reviews. So they may name somebody in your business, like I had a terrible interaction with Sarah and I'll never come back, something like that. If that's the case, you may respond with something like this. We're shocked to hear this. Sarah has always been a great employee with a stellar record. So we brought your comments to Sarah's attention. Unfortunately, she has no knowledge of this incident, and we weren't able to find any proof of this in our surveillance either. I don't know if you have surveillance that you can look at or whatever, depending on how bad the review is. You may leave that out. We're hoping you'll be willing to give us a call and further discuss this. Maybe you're referring to a Sarah at a different business. So what all of these responses do is they are letting the reviewer off the hook a little bit, saying, hey, maybe there's a mistake here in what business you're trying to review. Now, you and I both know that this is a fake review, and we both know exactly why this person is leaving a review. You're not writing this response to that awful person. You're writing this response to all those other legitimate potential new customers of yours that are reading your response. So what this does is it highlights for that reader that this is not legitimate, and we know it's not legitimate, and we're handling this in a professional and really kind of kind-hearted way instead of stooping to that person's level, but also just let the public know that this isn't a legitimate review without saying so much. Last thing I want to talk about is if a disgruntled employee or past contractor leaves you a negative review online for the sole purpose of hurting your business, maybe exposing some kind of an issue that you may be going through with your employees or contractors or something like that, or even just another completely fake review online just to hurt your business. You might respond with something like this if they leave a general negative review for your business. We're sorry you feel the need to air your employment or contracting differences after the fact in this manner. It looks like parting ways was indeed the right thing for everyone involved. We wish you all the best in your future. Now, this kind of a response shows that even in the face of adversity from an employee that's just really trying to damage your business, that you're able again to take that high road and to be classy in your response. If you really need to address a specific complaint that this disgruntled employee or ex-contractor has made in their review of your business, you might expand your response to say something more like this. We're sorry you feel the need to air your employment contracting differences after the fact in this manner. It looks like parting ways was indeed the right thing for everyone involved. This isn't the best forum to discuss employment issues, but we look forward to hearing from you directly if you feel the need to resolve any differences further. We wish you all the best in your future. So one last thing I wanted to highlight for you in all of these suggested responses is that they're all closed-ended, meaning we're not first of all, we're not hurling insults back. we're not sinking to their level, but we're also saying our response wishing them well, thanking them for their time, and then closing the conversation. We're not leaving this open for them to respond back. This is not, a review stream is not a forum for you to be asking questions like, why would you think that we would do this? Or something like that. Say your piece in a kind, helpful way, thank them for their time, and close that conversation. Make it the end, okay? Your response needs to be the end. And if they come back to you with another dig, you can let that go after that. But every negative review needs some kind of a response from you that is classy, that is kind, thoughtful, thanks them for their time, and closes that conversation. I hope this video was helpful for you. You can let me know if you liked it by clicking that little thumbs up icon below. If you didn't like it, you can keep that to yourself. We'll see you in the next video.